What's up, everyone? It's Will from Brews and Breaks back with another NFL prediction. And this time we are talking about the AFC West. And I think you're going to be pretty surprised about what I have laid out. But again, with these controversial takes, grab a beer, grab a coffee, grab a water, whatever you fancy, and let's get into it. Say it with me. The Bo Nix season. This is where we get to see if Bo Nix is actually what he showed last year. And while every second year quarterback, we really hope that they take that leap, have the Denver Broncos put enough around him offensively to really take that next step? Now, listen, we know that their defense is going to be top 5, top 1 or 2 even, arguably. They were legit last year. They've always been legit, all the way back to when Brady used to play. And they will be legit again this year. But can Bo Nix and company actually handle the offensive duties? So they've added Harvey, big boomer bust running back in my opinion. They still have Estemi. They now have Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. I'm sorry, basically the same thing. So they'll have a decent run game, I think. But realistically, I think this is all going through Bo Nix. So Troy Franklin, this is a make or break year. He could be one of those guys that just doesn't pan out, middles out, and he just leaves the NFL in a couple of years. Or he could be a huge upside wide receiver 3/4, right? You got Cortland Sutton, you got Mims, you got Vaughn. These are all good receivers, especially Sutton. Sutton's going to put up some numbers this year. But I think one of the most interesting additions to this team is Evan Engram. And I think he's going to put up over 50 receptions this year. He is a high targeted tight end. I mean, he's essentially a wide receiver. And he's somebody that Bo Nix could heavily rely on, considering that there's going to be a lot of extra help over the top with guys like Mims and Sutton. So I think look for Evan Engram to have some sneaky good fantasy plays this year. Denver isn't very flashy. They're tough, they're methodical, and they're very defense-oriented. So for here, I'm saying 12-4. Card plays are going to be Bo Nix, absolutely Bo Nix. He's obviously is expensive, but I think Bo Nix is still a good buy. Harvey and Franklin, crazy cheap cards, super high upside, so why not? And Evan Engram, you could get some cheap tight end autos there, graded. And if he has another breakout season, it's just thus solidifying him as one of the top tier tight ends in the league. And you could have, even if it's a minimal 25% ROI on your flip, you could get it, right? ROI is ROI. So 12-4, Denver Broncos. Okay, now I'm glad I don't live in Vegas or anywhere near Oakland because I know how Raider Nation's going to feel about that take, and so sorry. Kansas City Chiefs. You might like this take, though. Mahomes, he's still that guy. He's still him. Like, he's no-look passes, and I mean, he just extends plays, and he bangs refs. So, like, he's got both those things going for him. But the weapons around him, not loving it. Not loving it at all. I'm saying they're kind of mid. Travis Kelce, finally slowing down. Rashee Rice, suspension. So he's going to be out, right? And he's a mess anyway. The run game is average at best. I like Pacheco, but they don't run. So unless they completely change the way they play, they're not really going to get anywhere on offense. Hollywood Brown, I never was a fan of him, so whatever. And Juju is Juju. Like he'll be fine, but he's not what he was those first couple of seasons in Pittsburgh. I mean, the dude was electric, especially with Claypool together. They were awesome. And where are they now? You know what I mean? The division is just way too tough, especially defensively, for them to really get anywhere. Now, will they make the playoffs? Maybe. Are they going to be a top 4 seed? I don't think so. I think they're going to barely squeak in a wild card position, and that's if they're lucky. I think there's going to be a lot of interesting plays throughout the NFL and the AFC that they could find themselves at what I'm predicting to be 10-7 and miss the playoffs. But for now, I'm saying 10-7 with the potential to get a wild card position. Now, when they're in the playoffs, who the hell knows what's going to happen, right? I just don't think the Chiefs have it this year, and I think that there are other teams in that division that are going to smack them around real bad. So I'm saying 10-7 because the division is just tough. All that being said, Mahomes is always going to be a buy, right? He is a future Hall of Famer, first ballot. He is always going to be a buy. I avoid Kelsey at all costs this season. And if I were you, I would start selling his cards now. He's not, I don't even think he's a top 8 tight end right now. And I think he's really falling off. Who knows? Could prove me wrong. Just what I think. If you're feeling real risky, go ahead and buy Rice. See what happens. But for all intents and purposes, I am not touching a lot of Chiefs cards right now. So all in all, Chiefs 10-7, still a shot. You're telling me there's a chance, but I'm not very high on the Chiefs. Finally, the Chargers, 12-5. I think the Chargers are going to be dynamic this year, and this is finally Justin Herbert's breakout season. The offense is going to be humming. The defense is going to be top tier. And that is not just hype. That's absolutely real. They have guys like Quentin Johnston, who, for all intents and purposes, are looking like a brand new player and just another Harbaugh fix. I mean, just that's what he does. And if Quentin Johnston can turn into the player that he was supposed to be when they drafted him, league better watch out. And I know they lost Mike Williams. Like, they lost him to the Jets. They got him back, and then he retired. Whatever. That's irrelevant to me at this point. You still have guys like Keenan Allen out there. And yeah, he's a little older, but like, if they run into a little bit of trouble, they can always call him up and give him a short-term contract. You got Quentin Johnston humming, playing strong, confident. He's catching everything in training camp. You got Lad McConkey, who is an absolute slot machine. He is the wide receiver 1 on that team. You got Omarion Hampton and Najee Harris. So that's a dual threat right there. I mean, I know Najee's got the eye injury, but he's coming back before the season starts. And those two guys, Najee has quietly put up 1,000 yards in pretty much every season. And you're going to a Jim Harbaugh run-first offense? Come on. It's setting everything up for success. And then you got Justin Herbert with the cannon of an arm, the IQ of a guy who's been in the league since 2020. This is a scary team and one that I do not want to play. I'm saying they're going 12-5, and some of my card plays are Herbert right now. It's time to buy right now. You can get 9s and 10s, definitely affordable. So absolutely go get Justin Herbert before he explodes. You got Quentin Johnston. Dude is practically free. His kaboom I just saw, I believe it was his kaboom, was $340 raw. Buy that card. Like, free. McConkey, Prism Parallel, serial number cards, he's going to explode. He's definitely going to have some ROI. He did last year, and it's only moving up. And then the Omarion Najee connection there, I was a big buyer in Najee Harris when he went to the Chargers. The injury scared me a little bit, but I still have like 5 or 6 of his cards that I think I'm going to flip very quickly, very early on in the season, because he's just going to tear it up. So overall, Chargers 12-5, a lot of buys on this team. Grab them now before the season starts because they're going to explode. Now for the Vegas Raiders, and I'm very glad that I don't live in Oakland or Vegas because I think they're going 1-16. I love Pete Carroll. I loved him on the Pats. I think he's an amazing locker room guy. His energy is infectious, and his defenses are just annihilating. Legion of Boom hurt a lot of people back in the day. I love the Genty, Bowers, Myers offense. Geno's fine. I don't love the move. It's better than what they had, but like, realistically, what are they going to do? They'll have a top 10 defense. Sure. They'll be in games. Sure. What they don't have is the Mahomes love fest from the refs. They're going to be in games that they are going to lose. And it pains me to say it because I really want to see them do well. But honestly, the O-line depth, you got guys like Jacoby Myers, who I think is one of the top slot receivers in the league. But definitely top 10, top 12 based on just numbers alone. But, you know, you're going from a guy who was catching all the balls to a guy that is going to have he's going to lose some receptions now to Genty. Brock Bowers is now, it's going to be a run first team, which is great. But like, can Genty get pounded on every single freaking week the way he's going to have to in order to open up play action for guys like Bowers and Myers? I don't think they're going to win enough teams. And I think that the defenses are just way too good in that division. for them to actually pull ahead. So yeah, Vegas Raiders 1-16. Card buys, Genty, Bowers, Myers, especially if you want something that's really cheap. I'm not touching Geno. I just don't think he's worth buying cards on him. Unless you're a huge Geno fan, then you'll get him pretty cheap too. But overall, good luck, Raiders fans. Next year is going to be interesting because you're definitely going to have to draft a quarterback. You'll be fighting for a top 3 spot, top 3 draft pick. But yeah, good luck. So if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. But to recap real quick, final standings: Chargers 12-5. Herbert, not saying he's a potential MVP candidate, but maybe in the conversation for Offensive Player of the Year. Who knows, right? Broncos 12-5 as well. Bo Nix, breakout season potential, an absolute elite defense. The Chiefs 10-7, still potential playoff bound, real shaky. I don't have a lot of confidence in them. And the Raiders 1-16, top 5 pick incoming, which is good because they're going to need a quarterback, right? I'm not saying Pete Carroll's getting fired or anything like that. I think they give him another season. I'm just saying that they're going to be in games, but not going to win games. So which AFC team do you think is going to win? Do you think I'm way off? Like, where are we at on this? But let me know. Please like, comment, subscribe. Who's your top buy right now? Who are you betting on? Who's your fantasy pick? Let me know what's going on. But until next time, keep sipping and ripping.